As the United States and Iran trade blows across the Gulf and fears of a wider regional war mount, the energy shock because of the war may feel sudden for many nations, but one major power looks better prepared for this: China. Far from being caught off guard by the crisis, it seems Beijing has spent years, and especially the past decade, rewiring its economy to withstand exactly this kind of disruption. Chinese planners have treated the risk of maritime choke points and Middle East turmoil as a core national security threat since the early 2000s, prompting the creation of an emergency petroleum reserve in 2004 and a steady expansion of storage ever since. According to a report by the New York Times, that quiet buildup by China has accelerated in recent months, just as tensions involving Iran and key oil routes have intensified. Beijing's response has not been limited to buying more crude. It has steadily restructured how the country uses energy, aiming to need less imported oil in the first place. China has turned itself into the world's largest market for electric vehicles, eroding domestic demand for gasoline and diesel and reducing its exposure to imported crude in the transport sector. At the same time, it has leaned on domestic coal and local production to replace petrochemicals and other oil-linked inputs that once powered its factory boom. Government-backed projects now use Chinese coal to make key chemicals such as methanol and synthetic ammonia, directly substituting for foreign feedstocks. In fact, demand for refined oil products has fallen for 2 years in a row, and some analysts quoted in the report believe China's overall oil consumption may already have peaked. Strategists in Beijing have long worried about the Strait of Malacca, and today it is the Strait of Hormuz that underscores those fears, as a critical artery for Asian oil faces disruption amid the US-Iran clash. Yet the report notes that China is weathering this turbulence more smoothly than many peers, with countries such as Vietnam and the Philippines now looking to Beijing for help in securing supplies. Now remember, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman has publicly signaled that China is ready to coordinate with others on energy security, underscoring its new leverage. The current crisis also sits atop an earlier shock: Donald Trump's first term and the trade and tech war that pushed Beijing to double down on self-reliance. Business leaders and analysts quoted in the report described Trump 1.0 as a turning point that revived old anxieties about supply chains and sped up efforts to develop homegrown technology. By 2020, that trajectory was written into an official Chuxi roadmap, calling on Chinese industries to shield the country from external shocks and develop technologies faster than competitors overseas. Coal has been cast as a temporary bridge fuel in this transition, with coal-based chemical production now exceeding total US coal use and keeping Chinese fertilizer prices well below global levels despite war-driven spikes. For Beijing, the US-Iran conflict is not just a test of crisis management in the Middle East. It is a live demonstration of how years of quiet, state-driven preparation have begun to blunt the very vulnerabilities that once kept Chinese leaders awake at night.